All right, did a new study just discover why long COVID feels like your brain and your body stop talking to each other? And why are nicotine patches trending as a way to help fix it? Well, stay with me. This is going to make way more sense than you think. Hey friends, welcome back to Project Rewild. I'm Molly. I'm a nature therapist, and I also have been living with long COVID for a couple years. And today, I want to talk about something that honestly shocked me when I first read it. There's this new hypothesis about long COVID that connects the virus to parts of our nervous system that we don't usually hear about, and a very unexpected potential therapy that's getting attention in early case reports: nicotine patches. I know it sounds wild, but stick with me, because once you hear the biology behind it, the picture becomes a lot clearer. And more importantly, we're going to talk about what any of this actually means for people living with long COVID symptoms right now. So if that sounds like you or someone you might know, let's get cozy. Let's start by talking about what we already know about long COVID. Long COVID is messy. It's unpredictable, and it hits people in completely different ways. There's a whole bunch of symptoms you might experience, including crushing fatigue, brain fog, loss of taste or smell, dizziness, breathlessness, anxiety, chest tightness, sleep disruptions, muscle weakness, mood swings, etc., etc., etc. Some people feel like they've aged over 20 years overnight. I know that's definitely how I felt. And others have felt like they're living with a permanent flu. And it makes many say that it feels like their brain and their body just aren't talking with each other anymore. That phrase, the brain and the body aren't talking, is actually a helpful way to understand this new study. So what's this new theory we're hearing about? Here's the idea in simple language. Your brain communicates with the rest of your body through chemical messengers. One of the most important ones is known as acetylcholine. Acetylcholine controls your memory, your attention, your heart rate, your breathing, your muscle coordination, your mood, your sleep, inflammation through the vagus nerve even. To do all of this, acetylcholine attaches to receptors called nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, or NACHRS. We'll just call them knackers. Think of these receptors like tiny Wi-Fi routers that keep your body's communication systems online. Now, here's the twist. Scientists found that the spike protein from COVID can actually attach to these same receptors. And when that happens, acetylcholine can't get in. Signals don't transmit properly, brain networks become uncoordinated, and your whole system starts to glitch. This one mechanism could explain so many things, including why people feel weak, why thinking becomes foggy, why heart rate and breathing become unstable, why smell and taste take forever to return. And oh, that's the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. Why mood becomes so unpredictable as well. It's like this virus is jammed in your nervous system and it's jammed up the radio channels. Now let's talk about where nicotine comes in. Okay, so here's where the study gets kind of interesting. Nicotine, yeah, the same molecule that's found in cigarettes, also attaches to these same receptors, but nicotine builds up to 30 times more strongly than acetylcholine, and strongly enough that it might actually be able to push those spike proteins off the receptor. This doesn't mean nicotine kills the virus, it simply means that it can clear the receptor so normal communication can restart. The researchers used nicotine patches, not smoking, not vaping, which is very important, and they used the lowest available patch dose. They treated 4 people with long COVID symptoms who had symptoms for months, including fatigue, breathlessness, brain fog, loss of smell and taste. And here's what happens. Let's talk about the results from the study. So across all 4 participants, which yes, is an incredibly small sample size, but across all 4 of those patients, fatigue improved quickly, concentration came back, breathlessness eased, mood stabilized, sleep improved, chest tightness reduced, smell and taste slowly started to return, and all symptoms resolved within the next weeks, days or weeks. And months later, none of the patients had relapses. Yes, it's only 4 people, but this is important. This was not a large scientific trial. It was a tiny, tiny case series. 4 people, no placebo group, no blinding. This is not proof. It is not a cure, but it is the beginning of a hypothesis that needs some real clinical trials. The mechanism, the biological explanation, it fits with a lot of what we already know about the nervous system, about inflammation, and about the way that spike proteins behave. And for people like myself who feel like their entire system has been disrupted, this theory offers a surprising amount of clarity. But what does this mean for people living with long COVID right now, like myself? Now, let's take a moment to talk directly to the people living with this every day. Maybe it's you, or maybe it's someone you love. But here's what the study does not mean. We can't get super excited about these small clinical trials, but here's what it doesn't mean. It does not mean that you should go out and buy nicotine patches today. It does not mean that nicotine is safe for everyone. It does not mean that we've discovered a guaranteed cure. And it does not mean that smoking protects you, because smoking has its own massive risks. But here's what it does mean. First, it means that your symptoms are real and they're rooted in biology. This study supports what so many long COVID patients already feel, that our nervous systems aren't working properly. This is not something that's in your head. It's measurable, it's explainable, and the research adds another piece to the puzzle. Secondly, there may be reversible mechanisms at play. If the spike protein is blocking receptors, then the system isn't permanently broken. It's just jammed. And a jammed system can be unjammed. We've all sat in gridlock traffic before, right? It can be unjammed, and that gives a ton of people hope. Thirdly, the vagus nerve matters. This aligns with what so many people are finding relief from. They're finding relief from vagus nerve exercises, breathing practices, gentle movement, sensory regulation, forest bathing, grounding, meditation. If nicotine restores that cholinergic system, it hints at the importance that all therapies can strengthen the vagus nerve. Fourth thing is that research is moving. You might feel like no one's paying attention, but studies like this show that researchers are listening deeply to the experiences of long COVID survivors. The answers are coming, slowly, but they're coming. So what are my final thoughts? Where do we go from here? This small study doesn't tell us to start using nicotine patches, but it does open the door to a better understanding, to better treatment ideas, to potential clinical trials, and to a clearer picture of how long COVID disrupts the nervous system. If you're struggling with long COVID, like me, I hope this gave you a little bit of validation and direction. Your body isn't broken. It's fighting to find its balance again, and research like this helps us understand how to support that healing. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you want to, and let me know if you want a deeper dive into this system or into your vagus nerve-based therapies. Until next time, take care of your body, your breath, and your nervous system. You're not in this alone.